Cars on track for the warm-up lap for this first race in the opening round of the 2014 Dunlop Series, and Cam Waters in the NZ Ford Performance Racing Run Falcon has taken his very first pole position in the Dunlop Series. Fantastic job from the young gun from Mildura, now living in Melbourne and part of the FPR factory squad. This is the ex-Chaz Mostert car, and he's taken his first career pole. A nice little check too, $500 with thanks to Armour All for the young gun. The 19-year-old will start from pole for this first race of 14 races across 7 rounds for 2014. Greg Murphy's alongside me. Let's check out the grid. Ash Walsh, runner-up in the series last year. He starts on the front row.
Yeah, he's starting where he left off last year, but a great performance by Cam Waters. He is a star of the future, no question about it. FPR have recognised that. Back a little bit down the row 6, Gary Jacobson and Aaron Russell. Jack LeBrock, Morgan Haber, there's some great names in here. This field is really shaping up to be something this season. I'm really looking forward to it.
Frederick Lestrup, the Swede, who's joined this weekend. So Robert Dahlgren in the Volvo in the Championship
Very
Series.
international.
He's not the only one who's come to play in V8 Supercars. There are 5 drivers making their Dunlop debut. Dan Day is one of them down the back in the ex-Nick Percat car. Green flag at the back. We're good to go. 27 laps. Longer races this year. More opportunity for drama. Waters and Walsh, front row. We're going in 2014 on the streets of Adelaide. And it's Ash Walsh, the infant's friend Ford.
Was he moving though, Aaron? Was he creeping slightly? Maybe. I just thought I saw a move. We'll find out if we get a replay. But Cam Waters away pretty clean. They're all streaming through. Turn 1, 2 here at the awesome Calypso 500 Adelaide Street Circuit.
Heimgartner to third. Dumbrell trying to round him up and get it back, but he's gone deep. Cold tyres.
Yep.
Chris Pither tries to grab him in that Ice Break Coffee Commodore. Taz Douglas does get around.
Oh, he got
but he gets a tap on the way through. Manages to hang on. It is busy stuff.
Yeah, Pither's there, and there's Morris as well. Paul Morris in the Sergeant Security Falcon. He just can't get enough of this.
Jeff Emery lunging. Look at that for a move on Andrew Jones.
It's all happening on the first lap here, but Walsh, he has got a clean getaway. Our pulse had a bit of smoke coming from the damage there of, I think, was that Pedersen's car? Young Ant Pedersen from New Zealand. He is in here. He's got tyre rubbing.
Left rear guard is folded in. Last season's runner-up to you in the New Zealand Super Tours as they sort themselves out on this opening lap. Longer races this year, so there's more opportunity to find some racetrack, find some rhythm. Ash Walsh leads the way. He won the corresponding race here last year. Cam Waters next, then Heimgartner, Taz Douglas, Chris Pither, Paul Dumbrell, Paul Morris, Ant Pedersen, one of 3 cars from the Eggleston Motorsport team, but that's not going to clear itself anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's looking all right. It will depend on how much rubber it does rub off that Dunlop tyre there, but you know, the bodywork looks okay. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much of an issue as far as, you know, having to get the meatball flag and incorporate into this one.
One of the big issues at this time of the day, with lots of the cars. Andrew Jones, a good example. More stickers across the top of the windscreen.
Yeah, they need to take down the windscreen. Yeah. The sun coming into turn 4 is terrible this time of the day. It's going to be interesting tomorrow with the supercar race as well. They're going to have a lot of this. But Pearson running pretty wide. Jeff Emery up the inside. Good move there. Will he have the run down into the infamous turn 8? No, looks like Ant. Oh, there's going to be an overlap. This is going to be interesting.
Someone has to yield.
No, and he does. Peterson has to yield. Emery gets through turn 8 nice and clean. Still smoke coming off the rear wheel there. Someone's had a lock-up as we see down in the inside. Andrew Jones makes the move also on Pedersen.
And he took advantage because Pedersen had to lift to let Emery through, absolutely. So he had a run and he took full advantage. Just behind is Aaron Russell in that Go-Karts Go-Car. He's taken over from his big brother Drew, one-car team this year for them. And look at Heimgartner just starting to chip away and close on up at the end of this second lap in this opening race of the season. Paul Dumbrell coming into rhythm. Of course, he's driving with Jamie Whincup for Red Bull Racing Australia, but they were very keen to get him in a car this year. Pedersen's gone to the lane, but they want Paul Dumbrell to be absolutely sharp come September and to do the 7 rounds of the Dunlop Series. That's exactly why he's here. It's nice if he wins some trophies along the way, but it's about getting the rhythm and the focus.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Paul did a great job last year, no question for Red Bull Racing, but, you know, they want to repeat those performances and make the most of it. So, you know, he's in there doing it, and we know how much he loves driving these cars and does a great job out. Paul Morris there closing in a little bit on the back of the Eagleston Motorsport Commodore. Chris Pither just ahead, Pedersen in the lane. Maybe there was a little bit more damage, although worried about that tyre rubbing through, so they've pulled him in. And will they send him back out? I assume they will.
This is Chris Pither in the Icebreak Coffee Commodore, position 5 at the moment, back with this team again. Car run by Brad Jones Racing, engineered again by Paul Forgy, the former Marcus Ambrose championship-winning engineer from a few years ago.
I think he's actually the current Super Tourer champion-winning engineer. I think that's more appropriate, actually.
Who was his driver, Greg?
Oh, listen, that's not important.
But nevertheless, he's hanging on here from Dumbrell. This is the Casey Stoner car from last year that was...
unbelievable, yeah.
Took to victory.
He was moving.
Walsh
he
moved.
is in trouble. I saw the front wheels roll.
And even if it was deemed that he stopped before the lights went out, he was outside the box.
I think he was. I think there's going to be trouble there for Ash Walsh. I thought I saw him move just that little bit. He got away very well. Here we go, replay of the start. He was clean into turn 1 and 2. Interesting to see what happens here, if anything's going to be done to Ash Walsh. As we see, Waters just comes up with a new record, 22.7, 1 minute 22.7 in his chase of Ash Walsh.
Just hearing Murph from race control, no penalty for Ash Walsh. They must have deemed that he'd stopped behind the line before, just in that blink of an eye before the red light went out.
Well, that is very... There's Heimgartner runs wide. He had a bit of an oversteer going into turn 5, and he just kept it together. I think it's really slippery offline there, and that's cost him some time. Taz Douglas in the very clean-looking FG, the silver FG Falcon. Not one sticker on it other than the... Here's a bit of a replay
here. This is Michael Hector of Western Oil Ford, who is part of the 3-car Matt Stone Racing outfit.
And very lucky to get away with that. And here's
he got away.
A slow-mo. Look at the ripples going through the front splitter. There, Ash Walsh's car through turn 1, 2. Great shots there. It's a fantastic slow-mo of the cars and how much load, how much pressure they apply. Leaving a bit of rubber behind too as he exits.
There's lots of action still to come on the other side of the break. This is race 1 of the Dunlop Series. Chris Pither is a guy who's been around, former V8 Ute Series champ. In fact, his 6th place qualifying for this race is the best of his career, but it's not going to help him now because Dumbrell arrows it down the inside.
Just used a little bit of road. Pither comes back at him and doubles back up the inside. Paul just using that little bit extra road there and having to turn the car too sharp, slow on the gas, and Chris made the most of that opportunity to get back up the inside. And a long up from Morris.
Right front was burning.
Was a bit of an opportunity, he thought there, to catch back up and put himself in a position to look at Paul, but locked the front just a little bit.
Amazing to see, Greg. Walsh and Waters, class of the field. They're the only guys in the 22s. They are clearly 3/4 of a second a lap faster than the rest of them in this early stage of the race. Haven't quite got to halfway, but Dumbrell does look like he's got the pace on Pither, but it's just a case of getting it done right. He was in before at the hairpin, but has to do it all over again. This is the car that won Bathurst in 2010 with Craig Lowndes and Mark Scaife. This team in the off-season's recruited well. They've expanded to 3 cars, but John Russell from 888 is their race engineer, along with Dan Crone on the race weekend. So their umbilical cord to 888. 888 obviously not running in this series anymore, but it's very, very strong.
Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. And for these guys, well, not so much Paul, but certainly for Ant Pedersen, he has another dive at the same spot again. Will he pull it up this time? A little bit of a slide, but he's managed to get to the apex.
Take 2.
Take 2. Learned from that one, and he's managed to make it real clean past Chris Pither, who really just couldn't do anything about that. Paul got a great run through turn 8, got the car where he wanted, under brakes, and this time round managed to get it turned, and he burned straight off turn 9. So we'll see if Morris now has the ability to put the pressure on, or now if Chris can settle into a rhythm behind Paul Dumbrell now that that move has taken place.
This is the fight for position number 3. Taz Douglas has got it at the moment. This is the ex-Shane Van Gisbergen SP Tools car from a couple of years ago. Remember that all the cars in the Dunlop series are the cars that formerly raced in the V8 Supercars Championship, which now runs with the new generation machines. So a lot of these cars, though, are still not old. They're only maybe a year or two old.
Still very fast.
And still making plenty of speed. 1:22.49, fastest lap of this race for Cam Waters. And you can see on the graphic there just how much time Dumbrell has been able to take from these guys. But he's right on the back now. He's got to do something about them.
Yeah, pressure is now fully on as he looks down the inside. Went pretty late on Heimgartner. Heimgartner's going to turn in, but he has to give him room. Great move by a very experienced Paul Dumbrell. He's grabbed it down the inside, managed to pull it up and get the Commodore turned. Didn't look like he was going to get away with it there, but Heimgartner did very well, gave that little bit of room he needed to, and they've got through there cleanly.
This guy did everything right last year, Ash Walsh, but it all just saw him come up short right at the end of the season. But he's got to be looking really strong this year. He won here in the opening race last season, runner-up in the championship, got his first enduro drive with Dick Johnson's team. He's in the same car, the same team, the same engineering organisation. So he starts this year with all of the bases covered, and he leads the way at the moment.
Yeah, as you said, Noons, Ash Walsh was with DJR last year for Enduros. He's signed with them again. He's going to be racing with Scott Pye. Scotty, you yourself have had a great day today, and Ash Walsh, he's sitting very nicely there at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I'm watching pretty closely. You know, if he can do as good a job as he's doing out there in my car, I'm going to be pretty happy come Bathurst.
And of course, Andre Heimgartner was also recently announced as your junior driver for the Dick Johnson racing team. He's doing nicely as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's sitting there pretty comfortably in P5 at the moment, and I mean, it's great for a young guy as well. You know, like myself and Chaz and even Scotty, we had, you know, we got looked after pretty well from our respective teams, and it's done well for us. So, you know, it's great for Andre as well to be involved in Dick Johnson Racing, and, you know, hopefully we can keep doing well, and he gets his shot one day as well.
Thanks, Scotty. Enjoy the rest of the race.
Thanks, guys.
Scott Pye was in this series, Rihanna, a couple of years ago with 888 in the Monster Commodore, and he finished runner-up there in his return year.
See some damage there, sorry, Noons. Look at Walsh's car. So I'd say that's probably turn one.
Yep, that'll be a tyre bundle from down at the centre chicane, which is where he's on his way at the moment. Scuffed that left front. It's our right.
It's a reasonable amount of damage here. It's pulled. Looks like it's pulled the bottom tray there away from the rest of the front splitter. Look, there's been a change further back. We've missed that. Paul Dumbrell's managed to get past Taz Douglas.
And now Heimgartner's lining up for a run to the chicane as well.
He's going to be a little bit too far back this time, but Dumbrell's found the opportunity and managed to find himself now in third position.
But he's 14 seconds behind the leader, Ash Walsh, who in turn has 1.5 to Cam Waters. So from what we've seen in the last lap, Walsh's pace hasn't really dropped away. Bit of traffic here for Dumbrell to deal with.
Here we go. His favourite spot of the day so far.
The old turn 9 trick.
Great run through 8 again. And just positioned his car down the inside. Nothing much Taz can do about that. The 888 built Commodore looks very, very good on the brakes, albeit he is being held up now.
And this is Dan Day, young South Australian, one of the 5 Dunlop Series debutants who would be advised to stay where he is. Let him go down the inside. He's done it very nicely. Well done. Young guy on debut, just 19 years of age in that ex-Walkinshaw Commodore. And let's these guys go on with it. Now, watching the timing screens, Bert, Paul Morris needs to be careful. He's triggered the sensor at turn 1, or turn 2, I should say.
3 times.
3 times. One more pit lane penalty.
Heimgartner looking pretty racy again. He's managed to tag on the back of Douglas. We'll see if he learned anything from watching Paul Dumbrell do the move a bit earlier. Yellow flag's out at turn 1. Not quite sure at this stage what we've got down there, but
Jim Policina's in the fence. That's the ex-Tony D'Alberto Ford that he grabbed in the off-season. It's not going to move. Right front's busted.
Yep, there's a lot of gravel on the road.
Yep, would expect a safety car for that one because he can't get it moved. And that's not the way he wanted his first weekend with that car to finish up.
Look at Heimgartner. He is really on a charge right now. Taz either maybe used a little bit of the rear tyres on his Falcon, potentially, but it is on.
Safety car's called, Greg. It will come out onto the circuit and it will give Paul Dumbrell a free ride to these guys. In fact, he's already got the free ride.
Yeah, the safety car's out. They've backed off, and it puts PD on the back of Cam Waters. So the pressure is going to be on the young Mildura driver to see if he can handle the pressure from one of the stalwarts of the sport.
After the break, we're going all the way to the checkered flag on the streets of Adelaide.
The safety car is coming off this lap. We're going to see 6 laps, hopefully, under green. But everyone's lined up. Who's looked after their tyres the best? There he goes now. It'll be Walsh who leads the pack.
And he's waiting, Murph, for that acceleration zone introduced to V8 supercars last year with the 60-60 format. It's now on the front straight. He's in the zone. He's on the throttle.
People have gone. There's drama behind.
There's so many guys who are not used to the system, and they completely mucked that up. They made a real meal of that. Race control will be giving out penalties tonight when this race is done, because not enough guys knew what was going on there. That wasn't very good.
They were on the gas from the apex, whereas Ash Walsh was waiting into that AZ zone, and I actually made the mistake as well, mate. So it wasn't just some of the guys down the back there forgot all about the acceleration zone being used on the front straight. And yet we were lucky to actually we got away with not anyone in the fence because of that.
And now everyone's trying to get hustling again. Their tyres have dropped temperature, they've dropped pressure for this final sprint to the line. 5 laps to go on the streets of Adelaide.
Walsh has done it well.
Yeah, he's clearing away. He's got a little bit of pace on this first restart. You can see Ant Pedersen there in the background getting out of the way.
Douglas with some damage.
Yeah, right rear bumper's flapping.
Oh, around the outside. Pedersen's in the wrong spot.
He's trying to do the right thing, but he's actually doing the wrong thing by trying to do the right thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very much in the wrong spot there for to let the field through as they...
Hearing through Murph from race control that this is going to be a Pedersen wide. This will be a time-certain finish, Greg.
Morris up the inside.
There's not as much time left as we hoped. We otherwise would have liked to have seen, but that is how it is. Walsh, Waters, Dumbrell, 1, 2, 3. They'll all start jumping the chicane if they've got hops left up that won't give them a post-race penalty. Now Heimgartner, he'll clear his fellow Kiwi,
who needs to get out of the wall. Morris just ducked out in time there as Pedersen's trying to get out of the way as best he can. Waters has caught up a little bit. Dumbrell's caught up a little bit. The three of them will be... There's some action around turn 6 in the background. But turn 9, this time round, there could be some braking manoeuvres. Here they go. No, Dumbrell's too far back. And I think Waters is too far back too. He's going to close right up and put his nose in on Walsh. He shows him the nose, but I think Walsh has got this one under control. He's driven a very, very good race. He's had a little bit in the bank when he needed it, when Waters put pressure on. He's got a little bit of damage to the front of that car after touching the turn 1 tyre barrier.
But he's going to bring it home, Murph. Final turn, first race of the season. He won this one last year to set up a championship challenge. He'll get it done on the streets of Adelaide. Ash Walsh has won the race. The Infants Friend Ford is on the board for 2014 in the Dunlop Series. The young Ipswich-based driver has done the job. Really nice job. Great start. Good, solid, positive drive. Cam Waters, really well done for FPR in his debut run in that NZ car. Taz Douglas was a factor. Lots of Kiwis in there too, but it's Ash Walsh who picks up the win in race 1 on the streets of Adelaide.
Ash Walsh, what a ripper start to the year for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic to get out there and get the first race win for the year. I really felt like we had a good car today and probably underutilised a little bit in qualifying, so I was really happy to get a good start and then follow on and just control the speed of the race.
Speaking of that start, was it clean?
Yeah, I had a bit of a creak during the start. I obviously didn't have the handbrake on enough, but when the lights went out, I wasn't moving, so...
Go and enjoy.
Thanks.
The action is just heating up, so make sure you stick around.